One of the maintenance practices for a successful garden is going to be keeping it well watered. Just like humans, plants are going to need air, they're going to need food, and they're going to need water. And unfortunately, in the Kansas City climate, we get rainfall, but we don't always get it when we need it. So how do we know when it's time to water? Well, there's several signals we can look for. One is we can just start to see some plant stress, which would be wilting in the heat of the day. Or the best way is to get down, take your fingers, kind of scratch in the soil. If that upper inch or two of soil is dry, then it's time to water. The recommendation for watering is to supply about 1 inch of water per week in 1 or 2 applications, so we're deeply, thoroughly soaking the soil. We want to make sure we keep it targeted to the ground so we reduce the chances of insects or diseases. Most people like to use some sort of irrigation system. You can use soaker hoses, you can use a sprinkler, you can even just let the water flow at the base of the plants in what we call flood irrigation, or you can set up what we call a drip irrigation system for the more advanced gardeners. The ideal time to water the vegetable garden is going to be more in the early morning or late afternoon. We try to keep water off the foliage of vegetable plants going into the night, because that moisture, like on the foliage of tomatoes, peppers, green beans, can cause some disease problems. So when I recommend 1 inch of water per week, how do you know how much water you're putting on? Well, if it comes from rainfall, you can just check the rainfall totals with our local meteorology departments, or you can put a rain gauge out in your garden and measure that. But you know, I don't think I would really drive myself kind of crazy by measuring that water. I think I would just check the soil itself. If that soil appears to be dry, it's time to water. If that soil has good soil moisture, you're good to go. And I think after a few weeks of kind of figuring out the temperature, the wind, the amount of sunlight, you kind of get into a rhythm knowing how much water that garden is going to need. The bottom line is, it's one of those things that you just need to kind of go out and check and monitor your plant growth. That's part of successful gardening, is just kind of watching how the plants grow and how the plants respond, and that'll put you on the road to success.